Here's something most people completely overlook. The men who love cats aren't just pet owners. They carry a very specific set of traits that most people spend a lifetime trying to develop. And they don't even realize it. These aren't small things. These are deep, rare qualities that show up in the way they think, the way they love, and the way they move through the world. If you know a man like this, or if you are one, pay close attention, because what I'm about to share will make a lot of sense. Trait 1. They are deeply comfortable in silence. In a world that is louder than it has ever been, the ability to simply sit in silence, without anxiety, without restlessness, without reaching for a distraction, is genuinely rare. Most people cannot do it. The moment a room goes quiet, something inside them panics. They grab their phone, they turn on the television, they start a conversation just to fill the air. Because silence, for a lot of people, feels like an invitation for uncomfortable thoughts to show up uninvited. But men who love cats experience silence in a completely different way. To them, a quiet room isn't empty. It's actually full of thought, full of awareness, full of a kind of peace that most people never get to feel because they're always running from it. These men can sit for hours with a cat nearby, no music, no noise, no distraction, and feel completely at ease. They're not bored, they're not lonely, they're simply present. And that ability to exist fully in a moment without needing it to be anything other than what it is one of the most underrated forms of emotional strength there is. Psychologists call this quality self-containment. It means you are able to feel complete within yourself without constantly needing external input to manage your inner world. Most people regulate their emotions through distraction, but men like this regulate from the inside, and that changes everything about how they show up in relationships, in conversations, and in difficult moments. Trait 2, they notice what others miss. There is a significant difference between hearing someone and truly seeing them. Most people listen to respond, they catch the words, process the surface meaning, and move on. But men who bond deeply with cats develop something far more refined: the ability to feel what's happening beneath the words. Cats communicate without language. Everything they express comes through body language. The slow blink that signals trust, the flick of a tail that says, "Leave me alone," the way they press their head against you when they feel safe. To build any kind of real relationship with a cat, you have to become fluent in emotional subtlety. You have to learn to read signals that are never spoken out loud. And once that skill develops through years of paying close attention to a creature that never explains itself, it doesn't stay limited to cats. It transfers directly into how these men read people. They notice the slight hesitation before someone answers a question. They catch the smile that doesn't quite reach the eyes. They sense the shift in energy when a conversation moves into uncomfortable territory. They walk into rooms and immediately feel the atmosphere. Whether something is off, whether someone is hurting, whether tension is hiding underneath polite conversation. This isn't something they were taught. It's something that developed through practice, through years of paying close, genuine attention to a living being that required nothing less. And it makes them extraordinarily perceptive in ways that most people simply are not. Trait 3, they never rush trust. If you've ever tried to force a cat to like you, you already know how that ends. The more you push, the faster it disappears. The louder you are, the further it retreats. You cannot demand affection from a cat. You cannot guilt it into trusting you. You cannot rush the process no matter how much you want to. The only thing that works is patience. Showing up consistently, respecting its space, letting it come to you on its own timeline. And eventually, slowly, it does. Not because you forced it, but because you earned it. Men who love cats have lived this lesson thousands of times, and it has shaped the way they approach every meaningful relationship in their life. They don't chase people. They don't overwhelm others with intensity. They don't demand emotional closeness before it's been genuinely established. They understand at a fundamental level that real trust cannot be manufactured. It has to grow naturally in its own time through consistency and patience and the kind of calm reliability that makes people feel safe. In a world where everything moves fast and everyone wants connection instantly, this kind of patience is almost unheard of, but it is also one of the most powerful things a person can offer someone else. And men who love cats offer it naturally because they've been practicing it their whole lives. Trait 4. They don't perform strength. There is a version of masculinity that a lot of men perform without even realizing it. Walls stay up. Emotions stay hidden. Vulnerability gets treated like a threat. Tenderness gets mistaken for weakness. And so they spend enormous energy maintaining an image of being emotionally untouchable. Because somewhere along the way, they were taught that's what strength looks like. Men who love cats have usually stopped playing that game entirely. They'll sit with a cat curled on their chest and feel nothing but contentment. They'll speak gently, notice moods, respond to needs, and do all of it without a trace of embarrassment, without needing to justify it, without looking around to see if anyone is watching and judging. That is not softness. That is security. That is a man who is so grounded within himself that he doesn't need to perform anything for anyone. He's not trying to appear strong. He simply is, in the truest and quietest sense of the word. Cats make this possible because they reward authenticity and reject performance. They don't care about status. They don't respond to dominance. They don't care how you're supposed to act or what image you're supposed to maintain. They respond only to calm, genuine, emotionally present energy. And the men who earn a cat's trust have learned, either consciously or not, that being real is always more powerful than being impressive. Trait 5. They respect boundaries without making it personal. A cat will tell you exactly when it doesn't want to be touched. It will shift its body, move away, or simply make itself unavailable. It doesn't explain. It doesn't apologize. It simply communicates a boundary clearly, and then waits to see how you respond. If you push past it, take it personally, or try to force the interaction anyway, the relationship suffers. But if you accept it, if you back off calmly, without guilt-tripping, without frustration, without treating the boundary as a rejection, the cat remembers, and it comes back. Men who love cats have practiced this dynamic more times than they can count, and it has given them something that most people genuinely struggle with: the ability to honor someone else's needs without making those needs about themselves. They don't push when someone needs space. They don't sulk when they're told no. They don't interpret a person needing distance as a personal failure or a sign that the relationship is broken. They understand that space is not abandonment. It's a requirement for trust, and they give it freely, because they've learned that giving space is actually what keeps people close in the long run. Trait 6. They are quietly, unshakably loyal. Cats don't trust easily. They observe. They test. They wait. They watch how you behave when you think no one is paying attention, and when they finally decide that you are someone worth trusting, when they choose to seek you out, to sleep beside you, to come to you when they're frightened, that choice means everything, because it was made slowly, deliberately, and with full awareness. Men who love cats tend to love the same way. They're not the loudest person in the room. They don't make dramatic declarations or grand gestures. They don't broadcast their loyalty or seek recognition for it. But when they commit to a person, a friend, a partner, a family member, they do it fully and without reservation. They show up consistently, quietly, over a long period of time. They're the person who is still there after the excitement has faded and life has gotten difficult and everyone else has gradually drifted away. That steady, unspectacular, deeply reliable loyalty is one of the rarest things you will find in another human being. And it is something that men who love cats carry almost as a default. Trait 7. They are secure enough to simply be themselves. This is the one that ties everything together. Loving cats, openly, genuinely, as a man, has never been the socially approved thing to do. There are jokes, there are stereotypes, there are people who raise their eyebrows, and people who have opinions they're happy to share. And men who love cats are fully aware of all of it. They just don't particularly care. Not because they're trying to be contrarian, not because they're seeking attention by going against the grain, but because they have reached a place of genuine comfort with who they are. And they no longer need the world's approval to feel secure in that. They know what they value. They know what brings them peace. They know the kind of person they want to be. And they live that way, quietly, consistently, without performing it for an audience, and without apologizing for it to anyone. That kind of self-assurance is different from arrogance. Arrogance is loud and needs to be seen. This is something quieter and far more powerful. It's the confidence of a person who has nothing to prove, because they've already made peace with who they are.